What's up, Voicey veterans? Welcome to the evening show. I'm your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story was called Strange but Funny Encounter with Confused Karen. Here's some backstory. This was a little under a year ago. I used to work as a dishwasher at a local restaurant, and I wore a bright blue shirt that has the restaurant's name on the front corner, like most company shirts do. And it also has the number, address, and name of the restaurant on the back, and some old dark blue jeans I had. This does look sort of similar to the manager's uniform at the dollar store I went to. Their uniform is a bright blue shirt with the store name on the front corner and black pants. I live in a very small town and everyone dresses super casual. Even the uniforms at the dollar store look really casual. My town is so small that most people work at the towns around us. So there aren't many employees at the dollar store, and it's hard to find one if they aren't at the register. And it takes them a few minutes to get to the register when there is a customer waiting. I usually don't mind this because I never shop when I'm in a hurry. I'm also a socially awkward person and don't talk to people much. So this encounter was just really strange for me. Here's the cast. There's me, and then there's Confused Karen. Here's the story. I just got off my shift at work and decided I wanted to hit up the dollar store for some snacks. I'm one of those people who never get a cart and rarely gets a basket, so I was just carrying around some snacks. The store is super empty. Pretty sure I was the only customer in there. Suddenly, I hear this lady behind me. This lady definitely looked like a soccer mom to me. I don't really know what the Karen looks like, but this lady was somewhere between the ages of 30 and 40. She had a short skirt on and a white tank top, and she had a weird sort of bob haircut with some sort of flair to it. It looked like a haircut someone really sassy would have, and she was also dirty blonde. I don't know if that plays a role or not in her character. Anyway, the exchange roughly went like this. "Excuse me, do you know where some product is?" I was thinking she just needs help and couldn't find an employee. I think they're that way in the corner aisle. And I point in the general direction of the product. "Thank you." And she runs off in the direction I pointed at. I watch her for a moment and head straight to the register after grabbing a couple more things. As usual for a weekday around noon, the cash register was empty, so I was waiting for an employee to notice me. Just as I was about to ring the little bell to try and get someone's attention, Confused Karen comes zooming around the corner and looks at me kind of funny, then laughs a little. "Oh, I've never seen a store with a backwards checkout." She then goes around the counter to the cashier side and waits for me to ring her up. I'm super confused and staring at this lady. It's not backwards. Confused Karen looks at me really confused. "What? Why? Then what?" As she's saying that, she looks around and realizes she's on the wrong side of the register. "Oh crap, I'm on the wrong side?" She then comes around to the correct side just as an employee is coming to check us out. I notice the employee coming and look at Confused Karen. "You can go ahead of me if you want." I let her in front of me because she seemed embarrassed and also kind of in a hurry. Plus, if I just made a mistake like that, I'd probably want to jump off a cliff ASAP. "Oh really? Thank you." She moves ahead of me as I back up and completes her pay and leaves in a hurry. I then paid for my stuff and left. The employee didn't really say anything about it, so I guess they didn't see her on the wrong side or just didn't care. It was only after this experience all the questions popped up in my head like, did she not see me carrying stuff? Did I really look like an employee there? And other questions like that. Then after a while it was questions like, my shirt and pants are covered in bleach spots and food stains. How the heck did she mistake me for an employee there? I'm not entirely sure why I chose to call this lady a Karen. Maybe she was a novice Karen and hadn't learned the rules of the Karen Club yet? Okay guys, not every story has to end with someone losing a limb or something. Okay, this story is believable, and I know I read comments, so I know every person in the comments is always like, that story was so fake. Haha, Zach, you're stupid. But this story is definitely real, and you can't say otherwise. I mean, you can, but it wouldn't be as, I don't know, plausible. Alright, this story was called Angry Freezer Stalker. Here's the cast. There's me, 4'6" old lady, aka Angry Freezer Stalker, and Mom. This happened a few years ago, but as it's a story I've repeated a few times with coworkers, it's mostly still fresh. I was on a day off, the first one I'd had in 10 days, and doing a bit of grocery shopping with mom. Rent where we lived was insane, so I lived with her and dad. We had made it around the store and our last stops were bakery and dairy. Mom headed to dairy while I went to bakery. Now, I had been working at that particular store for about a year at the time, and would pretty well work any shift including being called in. So I was easily recognized by customers. Mostly it was fine, general friendly conversation, joking about being allowed a day off, typical stuff when you see regular. In this particular store, bakery, dairy, and frozen foods take up a big chunk of one corner of the store. They had recently been working in the freezer section, but I hadn't paid much attention as it wasn't my department. It was also only one section and wasn't a huge change. Ice cream had moved from one side to beside frozen dinners, and frozen fruit were now next to frozen veggies. Nothing had been taken out, and to my knowledge, nothing was discontinued. Just moved from one side of the aisle to the other. I was in the farthest corner of the bakery deciding on a flavor of bagel, when I hear this voice. "The freezer section is changed." I turn and look, and this little old lady, angry freezer stalker, is standing there with a basket and her can looking at me with this angry look on her face. Pardon?
"The freezer section is different. They moved the ice cream."
Oh, I didn't realize that. I haven't been over there yet. I know they were working there a few days ago. I grabbed my bagels and bread and headed over towards dairy and our shopping buggy. Angry freezer stalker is following me.
"They changed the freezer. Why?"
I don't know, it probably came from the head office. I realized mom wasn't in the dairy aisle anymore, so I set off to find her. Angry freezer stalker is still following me, still getting angry.
"I want to know why they changed the freezer. I can't find the ice cream."
To get to the dairy aisle, you have to walk right through the freezer section. So I looked around and easily spotted the ice cream. Oh, they just moved it to the other side. Angry freezer stalker is still following me as I turn down the coffee and tea aisle.
"But they moved it. Why? I want to know."
By now, I had spotted mom and was trying to make a not obvious beeline, hoping that this crazy old lady would get the message before I had to start being rude. "I'm sorry, but I can't answer that. If you go up to customer service though, they can call a manager for you." As I placed our items into our buggy, she finally seemed to realize I wasn't working that day. She grumbled something and walked away. Now, to save anyone from asking if I was dressed like I was working, at the time we had a very strict dress code. Black dress pants, black shoes, white collar top, and bright red vest. I was wearing a flowery sundress and flip-flops. I think in total, this lady followed me down at least 3 separate aisles, repeatedly saying that the freezer section had changed. Really? I never got that the first 20 times you said it. Alright guys, I was dying to make this joke while reading, but at the very beginning of the story, it says, the story is still mostly fresh in her mind. And I was gonna make the joke that, oh, I thought it was frozen, and then you guys would all laugh. But I'm doing it after the fact, so its effect is a little bit underwhelming. But anyways, regarding the story, I think the Redditor could have easily avoided this old lady if she just sprinted. Now think about it. How many angry old women do you know can run, let alone keep up with a younger person sprinting? Not very many, especially if they're angry. Because they're angry that they can't run. Or, I don't know the real reason, I'm not an angry old woman. Alright guys, this story from ChoosingBeggars is called Free Tickets, only in the best category please. Oh, and I want my money back too. I used to work in the ticket office of a well-known concert venue in my city. We primarily sell tickets, but are also there for questions and try to help people with problems people might have with tickets bought from other sellers. One evening, there was a concert by a famous musician, so the tickets were fairly expensive. It's getting close to starting time, and thus the end of my work evening, when this couple rushes towards me. They are about 50. She looks extremely worried, and he is very angry. He comes up to the window, shoves 2 paper sheets through the window, and says, "They don't work. Fix it." Well, hello to you too. I took a look at the tickets. They are print-at-home tickets, bought at another tickets office. I do what we usually do in these cases, enter their barcode into the system and try to figure out what is wrong. Turns out, someone else already entered that venue with the tickets with the same barcode. So next, I asked them where they bought the tickets. "On the internet," Sorry, do you know where exactly? Which shop? The husband gets increasingly angry, tells me this is BS and starts pacing angrily with his wife, and I try to find the email with the tickets on her phone. While we search, she tells me in whispers that they're from out of town and this weekend is her birthday present from her husband, which is a hotel stay and concert. We finally find the email. Turns out they bought the tickets at a pretty infamous market for secondhand tickets. I explained this to them and that the tickets were likely sold more than once and that in this case, whoever comes first gets to enter. Husband insults the venue, demands we throw the other party out and says I'm incompetent and resumes pacing. I offer to sell them other tickets, but wife explains they can't afford it. If it were only for him, I wouldn't have done anything. But the wife was crying silently and I felt really bad for her. So I call up to the office, explain the situation, and my very nice colleague says there are some tickets left in the second best category and tells me I can give them 2 of them for free. I'm super happy for them and call them to give them the good news. I show them the tickets on the plan and they see the price. Wife is very grateful. Husband, on the other hand, our tickets were far more expensive than what you are giving us. This is not okay. Well, as I told you, you bought the tickets from a private person, so usually we wouldn't be able to do anything in a case like this. But out of courtesy, we would like to offer you these 2 tickets for free. They are really good tickets too because I continue to tell them the benefits of these tickets and they are better than their original ones. But he stopped listening, grabbed his wife's phone and shows me the email again. We paid 300 euros per ticket. The ones you're giving us cost 120 euros. I show him that the tickets they bought and the ones I'm willing to give them are in the same price category, and he realizes that he paid far too much for their tickets. Of course, this is somehow my fault too, and somewhere in the conversation, he demands that not only should we upgrade the free tickets to the ones in the best category, we should also give him the money for the tickets they bought online. Again, I try to explain to him the concept of secondhand tickets and that I can't give him the money he never spent here in the first place. I even bring up my favorite IKEA flea market comparison that I save for the most thick-headed customers. Basically, it's about how he can't return an IKEA bookcase he bought at a flea market to an IKEA store. And it's the same for tickets. Usually this does the trick. Not here. He tells me we are scammers and that he is going to sue us and write us a bad review on Facebook. I am fed up by now. I tell him the show already started and either they take the free tickets and enjoy it or they leave. Grudgingly, he accepts the free tickets. His wife apologizes and they leave. I was still happy I gave them the tickets because I believe he would have made his wife's weekend hell if they hadn't been able to enter at all. And I felt sorry for her. Him alone, I would have never ever given the tickets. Wow. Good on the Redditor for being an upstanding guy. Like, I agree with him wholeheartedly. If it was just the husband, yeah, kick him to the curb. However, the wife seemed pretty sweet, so yeah, give her the tickets. Plus, it was her birthday, so yeah, what a good dude. This story was called Greedy as a Pig? I guess you could say. My husband and I frequent a great little ramen restaurant in our local shopping center. They serve beautifully rich broth with fairly generous slices of pork belly on top of the noodles. On occasion, they have a promotion for free extra pork. The difference between the regular slices and the promotional free pork is the free stuff is usually all broken up into tiny bits that you can stir into your soup. When they run the promotion, they have signs and posters everywhere with photos of regular soup topped with the bits. I'll add that they're usually very generous with the free pork, even though it's all broken up. It's probably the equivalent of a whole extra serving of regular slices, which would usually be $3. I was in line behind a lady, let's call her confused baseball pitcher, who had ordered her soup, and was apparently very excited about the free pork. She had stared at the promotional photo on the counter between her and the cashier for the entire exchange. And I'll have extra of the free pork, please. It sounds so good. The cashier smiles and makes note. Yes, ma'am. Confused baseball pitcher steps aside, all smiles, with her number to wait. I order ours and step aside as well. While we're waiting, confused baseball pitcher is looking around at the tables of people eating and being served their delicious ramen with the free extra pork bits. We're literally surrounded with posters for the promotion with the photos. There are even people walking right past us with identical bowls of soup with the extra topping bits. Confused baseball pitcher is all but floating after the steam like a cartoon character. Her number is called and she rushes to the counter. At this restaurant, the food is made in a production line, starting with the broth and noodles, then the shallots, and lastly, the pork. The whole process is in clear view of the counter, and confused baseball pitcher is watching every step eagerly. I'm fairly sure I can see her salivating. Her bowl is slid to the pork stage. The poor guy reads the note for the extra pork bits and puts in the regular serving of slices. Confused baseball pitcher's eyes are popping out of her skull, no doubt drooling at the thought of all that extra tasty pork. But wait, what's this? The hapless chef puts down the tongs and reaches for the spoon of the pork bits and starts ladling them into her bowl.
Wait!
The screech is honestly deafening.
What is that disgusting crap? Don't you put that crap anywhere near my food. Ah, it looks awful.
The poor chef's jaw has dropped, frozen mid-spoonful. The cashier rushes over to explain that those are her free pork bits.
That isn't pork. Don't lie to me. That is disgusting. How could you serve that?
The cashier tries to calm her down, pointing to other people's food and to the photo, telling her it's the same pork, just shredded a little. Confused baseball pitcher will have none of it and gets louder.
No, it says free pork. I want my free pork. That is what I want. Don't you dare try to give me that other garbage!
She jabs her finger towards the tray of slices. Regulars are mostly rolling their eyes at this point. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry for the confusion. Extra slices are $3, please. We will give you some extra.
$3? What kind of BS is that? The sign says free!
One regular gets fed up with her performance. Oi, miss! He points to the bits. Free! He points to the slices. Not free. Get it? The lady sitting next to him speaks up too. It's the same thing, miss, just broken up a bit. Confused baseball pitcher can't handle being reasoned with.
Don't you dare talk to me like I'm stupid! Fluoride, uranium, carbon, potassium, you!
She turns on the cashier and chef.
And Farming University of Central Kentucky, you and your disgusting... whatever that is.
Just when I think the show is over, she spins around to the face of the packed food court and the line stretching 15 meters from the restaurant.
Don't eat here, it's gross! It's not real pork, don't eat it, you'll get sick! Yuck! I'm reporting this place!
There's a few chuckles here and there. She storms off yelling about going to center management to have this place shut down. I enjoyed my noodles and the free extra pork. Alright guys, I really enjoyed this story, and in case you can't tell, I love stories with lots of dialogue so I can go crazy with the voices. And confused baseball pitcher definitely did not fail to deliver. Let me know in the comments below, even though it's not entirely relevant, but what are your favorite toppings for ramen? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.